Happy birthday, Fred. 80 years young. I've written a few words here for you, which I'm going to, I wish I had it memorized, but I don't. But I hope you like and what I have to say, and I hope it comes from the heart. The Second World War was recently over, Fred, and millions of boomers were introduced to life in the United States. The following words have been written to celebrate one of the first to arrive on the boomer wave that began in 1946. John Frederick Taylor was born on June 1st, 1946. I have often thought that Fred's birth name was very significant. He was given a name that would have been perfect for a banker, politician, undertaker. However, it wouldn't take very long before that blonde, curly-headed little rascal, as our mom used to call you, refer to you, would become Freddie, a name that would not align with the expectations of a tough World War II veteran from Kaiser, a poor railroad town in West Virginia. It is quite possible that to our mother, his name, your name, Fred, must have sounded more like a Confederate general who fought bravely against the war of Northern aggression. For whatever reason, you, John Frederick Taylor, were not going to submit quietly to the expectations put upon you, especially by your father. Sadly, I hated you at times and blamed you for all the turmoil in our home. I remember thinking that everything would just be okay if you left home. And when you finally did at the age of 16, I believe, I only remember being very sad. You drove your old Ford to Kaiser, West Virginia. I know Mom used to save up money unknown to Dad that she would occasionally send to you because she was so worried about you. Again, I remember thinking that something was very sad about this situation. Those were very traumatic years for you and those of us who stayed behind. In later years, I realized that you didn't really have many other options. Again, I'm sorry I placed so much of the blame on you for our family's unhappiness, or I should just say my unhappiness. Others can speak for themselves. That was not fair to you. It wasn't until years later that I really began to respect your individuality. As Frankie said, you did it your way, baby. One of the ways you did this was through your music. We were taught good music had to be performed by bands with the name of Count Basie, Glenn Miller, Tommy Dorsey. No disrespect to those guys, they're awesome. But you were digging Ray Charles, Little Richard, James Brown. On top of that, you were in a band that everyone knew in Lower Delaware, Freddie and the Freeloaders. Your band didn't rely on saxophones and trumpets and clarinets and 8 to 10 musicians playing without amplifiers. You only needed a few chords and a driving beat and to make a lot of people happy on the dance floor. He also needed, let's face it, the core of the band was Freddie himself. You sure as hell didn't need a music degree from Juilliard to make real music. Here's a quick editorial I have to throw in. I'll speak for myself, I think I was raised to be a music snob. I think I've gotten over that, but just say it. Okay, back to the birthday. The fact is you were pretty damn entertaining to your legions of fans. Okay, maybe not legions, but I will tell you this. To this day, on a calm night, no wind, still waters, you can hear the faint sounds of Freddie singing Those Happy Hours by Ray Charles as the sound of the words come floating across the water from Oak Orchard and the remnants of the Old Orchard Hotel. It sounds pretty good to me. Patty, I know what you're thinking. It's time to move on. Let it go. No need to beat a dead horse. Let it go. I got you, girl. You're right. You know, a lot of things in the past are kind of hard, and it's time to move on. So, on a lighter note, thanks, Fred, for introducing me to the guitar. I don't think too many of your fans ever heard you play the guitar, but you did. You used to sing the song Big Bad John, Big John, Big Bad John by Jimmy Dean, which I thought was epic. I thought that was the greatest thing I had ever heard. In my mind, Fred, you were the one who stood 6'6" and weighed 245. And here's another thank you to Fred moment. Thanks for introducing me to some of the fine poems you have recited over the years at numerous family gatherings. Who could not forget the one about the short little primate from Coconut Grove with the untamed sex drive? A classic. And then there was Dave, oh, old man Dave, who kept the deceased lady friend in the cave to save money. Excellent, excellent stuff. Great literature. Side note, I wasn't going to tell this story because it sounds like this is more about me, but you know what? I think Fred would appreciate this story. There's a poem I used to teach called Birches by Robert Frost. And when I see, okay, there was let me back up a little bit. One day while I was teaching, I was at St. Mark's High School up in Newark, Wilmington area, and I opened my book to the poem, and someone had gotten my book and scratched out every reference to the word birches, which goes on and on. There are many references to birches, and changed every darn one of them to bitches or bitch, wherever the case may be. So the poem became something like, well, the title itself, Bitches by Robert Frost. Not exactly a title Robert Frost would use. When I see the bitches bend to and fro, left and right, well, that was the first line. So I lose it now every time I've never taught that poem since. I can't get through it. For the next 65 lines, it gets worse, only to end with, one could do worse than be a swinger of bitches. Line 70. I will never be able to do that poem with a group of students, and now that I'm retired, it's probably not going to happen. Fred, I'm going to end with this. Happy birthday. You are the last surviving member of the Freeloaders. In my opinion, you guys belonged in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I respect you and love you very much. Keep on rocking in the free world, my man. And don't forget, I'm your younger brother, the one that still has hair. Love you. Bye-bye.